Your decision will determine your destiny. Everybody's hearing me?
Amen.
Your decisions will determine your destiny. Every single day in our lives, we make all sorts of decisions. A lot of them, they are things that are, or a lot of it, they are things that are not so important. Follow me today. Every day you wake up, how many of you know what you're going to wear tomorrow for work? Some things, it just happens like that. Unconsciously sometimes. You get up in the morning, then you look in the closet and you're like, okay, I'll wear a red dress today. Maybe I'll wear a gray suit today. Those things like what I'm going to eat. Some of you don't even eat in the morning. Some of you, you're so busy and taken up, you have to get to work on time, and especially if you have kids, and you just run to the door. But what you eat, what you wear, how you travel, whatever route you take, those things are all decisions that you are making every single day. Where do I go? How do I plan my day? Every single day, you're constantly, without even realizing it, making decisions. I decide whether I'm going to take the bus, whether I'm going to take the train. Well, I don't think anybody's riding these days, except one guy in the pantry. Ever since I know him, he's always riding to work. Well, right into the pantry. But every day, there's some other decisions that we make, and which is the ones that I want to focus on this morning. Decisions that ultimately going to change, alter, or affect your lives in one way or the other. And making decisions, we have to be very, very knowledgeable, prepared, and know what we're doing. And so, our relationship, our career, our life, who we marry, those decisions, you can't just take them lightly. The problem with people is that the same attitude we have in making the simple decisions in life, sometimes we take it to the next level. And when we should be serious and knowledgeable and be prepared, we just make a decision, sometimes just like that, without even thinking about the consequences. I remember, and I hope my wife don't get angry with me for saying this, but I remember when I was much younger. And after I think I was probably 22, and I felt, well, maybe it's time for me to find somebody. And I spent a lot of times, I said, Lord, send me a good partner. I know it sounds a little old-timeish, especially to this present generation. And I prayed about it one time, two times, 1 year, 2 years, and then one day, the very first time I'm going to cast my eyes on my wife, I felt something in my heart. And when I got there, as soon as we finished talking for the first few minutes, her father came down with a gun. And I got a little discouraged. Of course, you know, the first time you're meeting somebody, you're not even thinking about any relationship or anything like that. But over the years, and we dated for 6 years actually, I can tell you, it was not an easy task. And any man planning to come up my stairs and come and ask me for my daughter, I'll tell him right now, it's not going to be an easy one. I mean, let's be fair. We took care of her since she was small. We blood, sweat, and tears. We have done everything in my power, in our power, to make something out of her life. And then all of a sudden, you appear from nowhere, Mr. Who? Mr. Important. And all of a sudden, you come. You know, I thought about it, and I realized how my father-in-law felt. He was very threatened. Yes. And I'll tell you something, if you know that guy, he had 3 daughters. You could not cross that gate. They were 20, 18, and maybe 17. You dare not. And I can tell you in those 6 years, it was not easy. I can still recall sometimes I joke around with her. I can remember vividly one day my mother-in-law, she said to me, sir, she said, come. I went one day. After they said to me, don't come back here. There's no joke. There's no kidding. Right? That was the kind of home she was brought up in. And she said to me, come. One day. I was a kid. She's talking to a big grown-up man who was working. Come to me, sir. And she said, let me tell you something. I want you to know you're not welcome. Do you understand that? Please don't come back and visit my daughter. Don't come in my yard. It was a tough battle. But you know something? I prayed and I asked the Lord. And I said, God, if it is your will, let it be done. Well, we actually got to the point where many years later, between, fighting back and forth, finally came to the marriage. And it's so vivid in my mind. I remember that day when I went to visit them. It took a lot of courage. I mean, I was a strong Christian young man. I wasn't scared of them. But when I got there, I'm thinking, well, after 6 years, the guy going to smile, and my mother-in-law is going to smile, shake my hand and said, welcome to the family. I mean, any yo-yo could have just come off the street and just go and ask. And sometimes you find a lot of parents, they're misled. Here I am trying to serve God and doing all the right things. And the guy said to me, good luck. I want to tell you how that story ended. I think they love me a great deal today. But you know what? After we got married, I got up many days and I asked her, why in heaven we got married? It was a decision that I made and I had to live with it. You think when my kids misbehave, I can go to God now and say, Lord, why didn't I plant a coconut tree? I mean, we have our differences. We disagree on almost everything. And if you think it's okay with the pastor and he and Sister Marcy's having the perfect home, you got it wrong. Almost every day is something, especially with the kids. Because you always think, I'm giving them their way. I don't know, God has made us like that. Men always allow sometimes, some situation. But we have to be balanced. I want to say today that making decision is very important. And there are some decisions that are going to haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And you better think, and you better have a clear mindset and make sure God is a part of your decision-making process. Who you married, you just don't wake up one morning and decide, I'm going to marry Mary. You don't get up one day and decide, I want to be an attorney, but I'm going to study liberal arts. It doesn't work that way. You don't decide, I want to be a doctor, but I'm studying business. You gotta make a decision that's consistent with your destiny. You don't decide like a friend of mine. He used to always tell me, Pastor, when I get married, I want 10 kids. But by then I was married. So I know he was just joking around. And after he got the first one, he got a lot of gray hair. And after he got the second one, he started limping. And after he got the third one, I said, brother, let me tell you something. don't come back and tell me anything but children. You're killing that woman. What's your problem?